I want y'all to understand that there's a big difference between random deal making and a systematic business, okay? And there's reasons why most wholesalers get stuck doing their first few deals, or most wholesalers get stuck after their first few deals. I'm guilty of it as well. After your first deal or 1 or 2, 3 deals, you start to get complacent and you look back and you realize, man, I did all that work for those couple of deals. I have to do all that work again just to get another couple of deals. And you realize like there was never any systems in place and you just hustled your butt off to get those 3 deals. You worked hard, but there's no repeatable system or process in place for you to make it repeatable and get that consistent income every single month. The reason my students choose to work with me isn't just because of my results. It's because I actually understand what it's like to have done a few deals but still feel like you're starting over every single month. So that's why it's so important to have someone who's experienced, who's been through those roadblocks by your side to guide you through them as they come up. So step 1 to building a systematic business that consistently does wholesale deals every single month is you have to set up your business infrastructure. You're going to be moving from a side hustle to a legitimate business that does operations. You're going to set up a professional entity for credibility with sellers and buyers. Now, don't get me wrong. When I first started, I had no LLC, I had no website, I had no entity, I had nobody behind me and nobody to back me up. And I could still operate and close wholesale deals like that to this day. I cannot tell you how many times having an LLC and an actual website has actually helped me to close a deal, because multiple times sellers have come up to me and you get the old-fashioned objection, what company are you with? Who do you work for? What's the name of your company? And I'm able to breeze through that with so much confidence and ease because I actually have a company, I actually have a LLC, I actually have a website, and it's all up there for them to check and do their homework if they want to. The students I work with who make this transition from random deals to systematic businesses are the ones who are hitting $20,000 months consistently. In step 2 of setting up a systematic business that consistently does 1 to 2 deals every single month, you're gonna have to choose and dominate your market. Market hopping kills momentum after early deals, right? If you're already working in one market and you close a few deals in there, there's the opportunity to double down on what's working. Learn your market, what neighborhoods are good, what neighborhoods are bad. And you got to really become the go-to wholesaler in your area, right? You have to be known in your area, make a name for yourself in that market. It's a small world. You'd be surprised of how many people you actually run into that you know when choosing to dominate a market, and how big people have something covered. This is all about virtually dominating your market. This is a virtual market. This is a virtual game, and you want to have a reputation where you're at. You want to build a name for where you're at. You eventually want to get that LLC and that website with some testimonials, and you really want to start building your name for yourself in this area. If you're going to become a repeatable, sustainable, consistent business that does $1 million a year, or at least $500,000 a year, you're going to need to learn your market, learn the people in your market, learn what it's like, learn what the laws are in that market and study it, but go in. How do you get that information? You do it by hustling and grinding every single day, hitting your KPIs, sticking to the process, and every day you build and you learn and you grow a little bit more each and every day, right? That's how you go from random deals to predictable income. Now, step 3 of building a systematic business is you're gonna need to build a systematic lead generation channel. You're gonna wanna move beyond random lead sources to a consistent pipeline. You're gonna wanna measure each marketing source, how many leads it's bringing in every single day, every single week, and every single month, and what are the conversion rates from those lead channels that you have. All right, multiple lead channels working simultaneously is something that you'll grow towards, but in the beginning, if you have multiple marketing channels and you haven't honed down on any one of them, then it's only going to confuse you and your brain is going to be everywhere. And you're not going to be able to focus on one marketing channel and be able to scale that one marketing channel. It's always important that you stick with one marketing channel, and whatever marketing channel you choose, you make sure that you stick with it until it works. Then you add another one. Okay, you don't choose one and then switch to another one if it doesn't work or because you built into the hype like me. You want to pick one marketing channel because they all work. They all have different metrics. I recommend an inbound marketing channel, but you want to pick one marketing channel and stick to it. For me, my marketing channels are I do Zillow for sale by owners, and then I have cold callers. So I have 8 cold callers. That's bringing me leads in every single day and week and month. And then I have Facebook ads. So I have an inbound lead source. But automated systems versus manual prospecting saves you so much time. Having leads coming into you, having leads, you know where they're coming from, having leads, you know, already set in a certain category, you know, if they're cold, warm, or hot, and having a system such as a CRM to put them into and to organize them. That way you're not just randomly looking for deals and randomly prospecting, which wastes a lot of time when you could be talking to the people who really matter and who will actually make you money. And once you get to that level of building out your marketing channel, you will get to a level of building lead flow, aka building money flow, cash flow that works while you sleep. When I first scaled past my first few deals, I was overwhelmed trying to manage multiple lead sources. That's exactly why I created systematic approaches for my students so they can build a consistent pipeline without burning out trying to do everything manually like I had to do. And step number 4, you want to master deal analysis at scale. Okay, you want to be able to have a process that quickly qualifies or disqualifies any lead that comes in. You need to have a process and a map for if you were to bring somebody into your business, they could just stick to the script, they could follow the orders, they could follow the process, and it goes exactly how you want. So you need to have clear definitions of what's a qualified lead, what's an unqualified lead, right? How to run comps. How do you run comps? Do you run comps based off of Zillow like me, or do you use something like PropStream or a software of some sort? Whatever you use, it's all the same data. You just have to make sure that you have a system for getting that data that's repeatable and delegatable. So when you hire someone, they know how to comp. They could learn how to comp within a week or so. Obviously, there's nuances that you have to learn and it takes time. But in a nutshell, having a process saves you a lot of time as far as training, onboarding, and looking for deals. And if you do that, you could have scaling analysis without analysis paralysis. Right? The difference between doing 1 to 5 deals and actually doing 10 plus deals per month is having systems that let you analyze opportunities quickly and accurately. My students get the exact tools and processes that I use to evaluate deals in minutes, not hours. Step number 5, you want to have a systematic offer presentation, basically a sales process. A process for giving your offers. If you watch this channel, you know that my process for giving offers is the 5-step sales process by Eric Klein. That's intro, fact find, pitch, offer, and close. I find honestly that sales process can work in almost any sales interaction. You want scripts and systems for confident offer presentations, okay? You have to have a script. A script is basically the process in its physical form. Okay, you need the script to guide you through the process. A lot of people get stuck while reading the script because they don't have the perception or the mindset that this is just a guide. Yes, I have to read certain parts word for word, but I'm allowed to get off the script and I'm allowed to get back on the script as long as I do it in the order of the process and I don't let the seller or the prospect get in my head and steer me off the direction that I'm supposed to go. Step 6 is you want a professional contract with the correct system of how to get that contract signed so that you could ultimately take it to the closing table. You want to make sure that your contract or your purchase agreement, as I like to call it, is legal in whatever state that you're wholesaling in, has all the right terms and clauses in it that you need to do whatever exit strategy you plan to do with the property. You need to make sure that it protects you as a wholesaler. You need to know that you're not going to get sued or somebody's going to try and charge you for something or bring you to court or something, right? You have to make sure that you have a real, solid, legit contract that works in any state that you're wholesaling in. Different states have different laws. You want to have a streamlined contract process for multiple deals. What happens from the time they say, yes, I'll accept your offer to the time that contract gets signed. Step number 7, you're going to want to have a title company relationship. I have a good relationship with one really good title company that I've been using for the past 3 years. They're called Secure Title of Texas. They close all my deals for me because that title company is going to be able to expedite your deals. Make sure that the seller really is the seller. When you do a title search, they're going to be able to hold the escrow, and they're going to be the ones ultimately in charge of making sure that your transaction goes through and the deal gets funded. You want to make sure that you have a good relationship with at least 1 or 2 different title companies. Step number 8, you want to build your buyer network. Crucial. What's the point of having a bunch of deals if you don't have anybody to buy them, right? So having that list of VIP buyers is crucial in your wholesale real estate business. And again, having 1 or 2 VIP buyers who you know will buy majority of your deals also gives you another bit of confidence when you're on the phone with the seller that you really can't get anywhere else. So it's always good to always be building your buyer network. Don't get this confused though with trying to find the buyer before you find the deal. Always find the deal first and the buyers will come. And as they come, you want to save their information, have a process for saving their information, have a script and a process for talking to each buyer that comes to you asking for your deals. But having that buyer network and having a system and a process for how to contact and reach out buyers gives you leverage for building a competitive bidding process. Right? What if you have a really good deal and you have a bunch of buyers who want to come buy your deal? Do you have a process and a policy in place for what to do when a bidding war happens or when you have multiple bids on your property and they're all trying to outbid each other? I had a student who went from struggling to find one buyer per deal to having 5 buyers competing for every property that he brought to him. And within 90 days, he went from just $3,000 as his average deal size to $8,000 as his average deal size. He increased it by $5,000 just because of having buyer-better relationships. That is what systematic business building looks like. Step number 9, you're going to want to streamline the assignment process. You want to have a professional assignment of contract and you want to have a professional process for having the buyer fill it out. When you have multiple buyers coming to make a bunch of bids on your property, you need to have a process and a policy in place to make sure that the right buyer gets it and you make sure that the right buyer signs the assignment. These are all things that you got to look out for and you got to have laid out in your process when it comes to assigning the property to a buyer, because ultimately that's the final piece of paper that's going to determine how much you're going to make from this deal. Step number 10, you're going to want to scale and systematize. This is where you're going to start building a team and delegating systems. At this point, you're going to have multiple revenue streams for your wholesale business. You're going to have predictable monthly income targets. This is what happens when you get all of these processes in check and you could finally scale. You could start to incrementally increase how much you make each month, whether that's increasing your conversion rates, increasing your average deal size, shortening your cash conversion cycle, whatever it is. When you have it all systematized and mapped out, every single process, you're able to lift the hood of your business, look under it, and point at what needs to be improved, point at what needs to be fixed, point at anything that is not running as efficiently as you want it to. Or instead of fixing, you could just improve what needs to be improved, scale what needs to be scaled from a systematic perspective, from an operations perspective. There needs to be numbers and processes for everything. That way you could look at a glance in your business and see, okay, these numbers aren't where they need to be. My students who implement these systems don't just do more deals, they do better deals with higher profit margins and less stress. In order to make that transition into scaling, there has to be a difference between doing deals and running a business. When you make that final transition into scaling your business, you're going to realize that there's a difference between just doing deals and actually running a business. There's an infrastructure needed for consistent $20,000 to $50,000 per month, and you have to build it out. This is why most wholesalers plateau after having early success. I just gave you a complete blueprint for turning sporadic deal making into a systematic success. But let me completely be honest with you. There's a big difference between knowing these systems and actually implementing them while you're trying to manage your existing deals. And here's what makes me different from every other wholesale coach out there. I'm the most hands-on coach you'll ever work with. You need systems, you need support, and you need someone who's actually made this transition already. Not only that, but has helped other people make that same exact transition multiple times. I work with 2 types of people: wholesalers who have done 1 to 5 deals and want to build consistent monthly income, and existing wholesalers who want to scale to $20,000 to $50,000 every single month. If that's you, then click the link in the description and book a call with me. On that call, we'll map out exactly what systems your wholesale business needs to hit consistent monthly targets, and I'll show you exactly how I could help you build them. But I'm only looking to work with a few people who are serious about scaling. If you're ready to stop doing random deals and start building a real business that produces consistent monthly income, click that link and let's talk. Stay motivated.